Hey everyone, this video is all about project management using RStudio and R. And so I want to go over some of the basics of file paths and directory structures, and then talk about how you can organize your code, your data, and your results within this project folder that we've created. So to start, a working directory is a pretty essential part of understanding your project that you've created. So the working directory tells R essentially where it is in your computer. And the way that we know what our working directory is we can use this function called getWD, and it will return a file path. And this file path basically says the absolute location of where this project folder is located on my computer. So each slash indicates a level of where the file is located. So it's underneath users in a folder called Teraposi, in my documents folder, in our projects folder, and then finally the folder that I have for this specific project. And the way that R knows which folder to consider the working directory or the home is wherever the .rproj file is located. So if you navigate down to the bottom right square, you'll see files and you'll see where you are located in this folder. And so we can see that this is just the same repo that I have cloned from my GitHub, and there are a bunch of files, and one of those files is this .rproj file. And so wherever that file is located is wherever your computer is going to uh, start from. And that's an important thing because eventually you can use this to your advantage. So this file path is really long, and as I said earlier, it's an absolute file path. But there are also relative file paths, which basically offer a shortcut for calling up different files within your folder. And so you'll notice that I have a folder down here named data. And so say I want to retrieve something out of this data folder, I can use a squiggly, the backslash, the data folder name, and then I can call up any of the files that are within that data folder. So I just want to preview this. We'll get familiar with actually using relative file paths later on in this course, but that's just something to highlight. I also wanted to bring up that there are a couple best practices when thinking about project management. So the first is that your raw data is to be considered a read-only file. So the benefit of using R is that we can do different things to the data without actually changing the source data itself, which is really nice because in case you make a mistake or you want to change how you're working with the data down the road, you can do that pretty easily. The second best practice is talking about your outputs. So all of the outputs that you create through coding in R can be treated as disposable, which essentially means that they are created with the code and they can be recreated or replicated in the future, which is a really handy tool with coding. So one thing that I want to make sure we talk about in this video is how to organize your project folders. And so I'm going to click back into the main area of my project folder. So I'm down in the bottom right side of my RStudio interface. And you can see that I have a folder for data. And I also have this new folder that you probably not have at this point called scripts. So in general, I would say most of my projects, our projects, have a couple different folders in them. They have a data folder, they have a scripts folder where I keep all of my R script or R markdowns. And then I also have a folder for data outputs, which are different than the raw data, which are in the data folder. And then I also will have a folder for like figure outputs or plots. And this is a way just to stay organized within um, the R project folder because over time, this folder is going to explode with a bunch of different files. So there's some additional information on the website if you want to learn a little bit more about project management. But that's all I'll share with you for now. Thanks for listening.